Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tara and I make digital videos. What do I make? If you're new here, I make videos about digital planning and different ways that you can get creative with your iPad. So if that sounds like something that's of interest to you and you like hearing me make a fool of myself, feel free to tap the like button, subscribe, or even ring the notification bell so that you never miss a video. That all being said, today is going to be my daily setup, but what I'm actually going to do today is a little bit different than what I typically do. Because it's January, I do kind of want to walk you guys through a little bit of my setup and how I'm sort of changing things for my own planning process. I do change things month to month just based on like what I have going on and what I feel like the best planning process is for me, which is why I love digital planning so much, because I feel like I have the ability to kind of like create as I go and just make it work. But I'm also trying to be more productive this year. So let's hope that I can keep my stuff together, and I don't know, I'm just trying some different methods and seeing what works for me. So this is my monthly setup, which you would have seen a glimpse of in the last video, and also the full video where I do this during the video before that. So I will link that in the cards right now if that's something that you want to check out. But one thing that I'm doing a little bit differently here is I watched a video by Rachelle in Theory where she's talked about the distraction method that she uses. And I thought I really liked this idea of how at her work and also now in her planner, she's been breaking things into these 2-week sprints. And I think that that might actually really help me to break down my goals for the month. So I always like set goals for the month and then I just try to fit them in, which is chaos and stupid. So I want to try this idea of breaking my month into 2-week sprints. And then within those 2 weeks, what are the things that I need to accomplish that are going to get me to the goals that I, want to achieve. So basically I made this decision kind of last minute. And so I didn't have my mind made up about this prior to setting this up. So I have just kind of like scribbled in for these 2 weeks on the margins here, like what are the things that I want to get done during these time frames. And then I kind of use that when I go into my weekly, so I can figure out what it is that I need to focus on for the week and what are the things that I need to schedule in. And so I've gone ahead and I've just kind of duplicated these dots and then I put them in for every single day of the week. I'm going to do my best to try to give myself weekends off because I've basically never done that before in my life. So we'll see, or just kind of do like sort of fun, no pressure kind of work on the weekends. I don't think that will keep up, but we're gonna try. And so I put in these dividing lines, and then on the left side, I've just kind of created these lists of things that are sort of like must-dos for me, whether they're like health related, any of my goals really, business focused, personal relationships, etc. So I just kind of like put those as my priorities, and these I will carry through into my daily plan. But then I have this section in the middle, which also from Rachelle in Theory, I thought maybe it would be a good idea for me to try, is her distraction method. So this is where you're writing down what is keeping you from getting everything done that you need to get done during the day. And I thought this was really interesting, and I think it'll be really helpful to go back and reflect on like what are the sort of time sucks in my life, what is sort of keeping me distracted or keeping me from productivity, or if there are no distractions on certain days, why didn't I get it done? Is this a time management issue for me? Is this me overestimating or underestimating the time, or overestimating the amount of work that I can actually accomplish in a certain time period? So I think it will be really, really useful information, and I'm very excited to give that a shot this month. I'm enjoying it so far. And then, yeah, in this far right, I've got my meals and water tracker and stuff. So going forward, let's take a look at today, which is January 10th. And I also have never really shown this before, but this is kind of how I use my planner regardless of what my decorations are for the month. And I personally really, really love the just basic setup of this planner. The first year that I used this, I didn't have any stickers at all. And then last year I did, stickers the full year. For me, it's just very, very functional. I'm a big fan of it, and so I didn't really change much about it this year. Sure, there are things that I'm sure I could improve upon, and I would love feedback going into future years. If anybody uses this planner and, you know, would like to see certain changes, I'm totally open to those things. But for me, I find it incredibly functional, and it's just really helpful for me. And so I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into how I do my planning. So usually what I'll do is I will take the priorities that I've set up for the week and like that I've broken down into daily tasks so that I know that I accomplish all of my goals that need to be done for the week, and I will move them over here for that specific day. And then I just arrange them on my to-do list and add anything else that needs to be included. These are typically little things that maybe I didn't include in there, like, I don't know, laundry, shower, planning my week, I don't know, just random things that come up that were not part of my like main pre-scheduled priorities, if that makes sense. And then in the morning, I really like to just take a look at my to-do list and see how I can kind of estimate where it's going to fit into my day. And then I add in other things like my morning routine, for example, or anything else that I feel necessary to put in there. And then the other thing I like to do is take a quick look at my to-do list and just make sure I know what are my main priorities for the day. And these can range. They can all be work related sometimes. Sometimes they are related to like personal goals. Sometimes they are health goals. It doesn't really matter. The point is that I know the 3 most important things for me to accomplish for the day. And I put these over here in my top 3 priorities. So for today, it is recording this video that I'm doing now. I need to meal prep after this and also exercise, which I've already done this morning. So another thing that I like to do is typically these are things that do take a little bit longer, not always, but in general. And so I try to like really block them off and make them very clear that they're a priority. So the only one that's not big like that is exercise, and that's because it doesn't take a ton of time, and I scheduled it in like first thing in the morning because it is a priority for me. I know if I don't get that done in the morning, I likely will not do it at all. The other thing that I wanted to kind of highlight here is sometimes I will use all one style for like blocking out my time, so it's very consistent, very aesthetic, very beautiful. And then other times, I don't know if it's like the tiny little ADHD monster that must exist somewhere in my brain, but it needs like the variation or it's just fun for me. I don't really know, but sometimes I will do it like this. So I have all these different styles of ways that I might block out my time, and I thought I would show these to you in case you guys need some ideas for ways to time block in your own calendar. So this one is probably one of my favorites. I like to draw out the shape and then use my precision eraser to erase away a section in the middle, add in the writing, and then I went ahead and added in these little colored boxes as well that fit this template's color palette, which we'll get into in just a minute. Sometimes I just write them in the center in like nice, neat handwriting. Sometimes I will add a block here, and I tend to, I don't know why actually, GoodNotes has like refilled in the shape, but I tend to erase the color from there, which has also happened here, so I'm going to erase that away. Sometimes I will just write the letters to kind of fill the whole space. Sometimes I'll do this sort of like up and down unlevel lettering with like an arrow or something. As you can see here, I need to post my sticker poll for the day. So if you're on Patreon, you guys will have already seen this because that poll will come up before this video is edited. And if you're not on Patreon and you would like to join the voting process for my sticker designs, I will leave the links to that down below. We'd love to have you as part of a little community. So sometimes what I like to do is draw this rectangular shape, and then I will just use my lasso tool, make sure that handwriting is turned on, and then I just grab that center bit and I just kind of move it around. And I don't know why GoodNotes has been glitching a lot lately, but I'm gonna delete that fill there. And I just kind of give it a nice little drop shadow and place it somewhere that I'm happy with the way that it looks. Another thing that I typically do very often, and I love the clean look of it, is I just draw a straight line down. I use the precision eraser to erase away the center, and then I just write in between there, in that space, what it is that I need to accomplish. And then I also like to kind of write out in a nice cute little thin script writing and just kind of fill the whole line. And then also, I know you guys have seen in other videos of mine, sometimes I will take the transparent like paint strokes that I have in my stickers, like one of these for example, and then I will paste these, and then I will take that and crop it into a rectangle, and then I've got these nice little rectangles that I can use for filling a space or writing on top of it usually, because as you can see, it's layered above the writing, so you can't really see it all that well. The other really nice thing that I make sure to do at the beginning of the year is I like to favorite the important pages. So things that I want myself to use daily as a means of tracking whatever. So I'll come up here to these 4 little squares, and I just, instead of being on thumbnails or outlines, I keep mine on favorites. And this makes it really easy for me to navigate through the most important pages for me to keep in mind throughout the year, throughout the month, etc. So I've got like important dates and favorites selected. I have my memories page so I can remember to go back there each month and post my highlights of the month. I have my vision board, which I have not done yet, and I'm going to do that in a future video, so subscribe if you want to know when that comes up. And then I have like my goals and my different ways of reaching those goals. And then I have my gratitude page, my routine tracker, which is really helpful for me to make sure that I'm keeping myself grounded and doing the things that do kind of keep me feeling human and feeling a little less chaotic. I have my mood tracker, which I was terrible at using last year, but I've discovered a little bit of a hack that's helping me now. So I'll actually pull that up now. So one thing is, I can't believe I don't have stressed on here, because stressed is probably my main state of being, unfortunately. And for whatever reason, it's not on here. So I wrote it in at the bottom, which is why I left a blank box there in case there's something that's, you know, that you need. But then I went through and just put all these different colors of highlighter, and my problem last year was not being able to match the color. And with GoodNote 6, you can easily just like eyedrop and pick a color, so it's probably not a huge problem. But what I'm doing this time is I'm just thinking about how I feel for the day, and then I'm just going to like highlight those colors, and we all have a range of emotions, so I just copy and paste, and then I just put them into the day. And I think this will be really nice because it's going to kind of help me see like how often I'm feeling certain ways. And I do try to make like the lighter colors more, I guess, positive emotions, and the more like bold or darker ones to be the less happy emotions. And that will also kind of give me a little bit of insight as well, just as a visual of like how I'm feeling on the whole. So the lighter the color, the better I'm feeling is basically how I kind of want to go with this. It's not perfect, but I can see like obviously this day these colors are a lot more bold. That was a rough day for me. And like this day was mostly good, but I was also feeling stressed. Anyway, it's serving as a pretty good visual for now. Much better than the process I tried to do last year. And here's where we get into the ones that are going to change from month to month. So this will be like my financial tracker, my monthly setup, my habits, and my weekly and my review. So I make sure to have those because those are important for the month. And then once February hits, I will swap those out for the February ones. Also on a weekly basis, I change this one. And then the rest are regular ones that I use. So I've got my notebook section, which is not super important because I can navigate to it from here, like from the actual planner. But I don't know, I like to have the things that I use frequently in my favorites. This is like a YouTube planning page that I've got here. My reading list, my meal planning and grocery list, the recipe log, because if you listen to, I think, my monthly video, I explained that one of my big goals is me finally learning to prepare food for myself and feel more confident in that skill. And then my habits for the year. So I didn't even really use this last year, but you can duplicate this as many times as you need. But I think there are just certain habits that I find myself constantly trying to track. And some of those are like sleep, taking my vitamins and supplements, just getting out and moving my body, and consuming vegetables or fruit on any given day. And so they're just little things that I think are really important that I do every single day. And so I want to be better about including these. And so I've favorited this page, and I just go in and I add a little circular highlighter dot over the days that I complete those. Okay, I've gone on way too long explaining what my setup and everything is like for the new year. So I am going to finally jump into my plan with me. So let's go ahead and just navigate to today. And I really wanted to do that now because I feel like this is going to be a very simple setup. I'm not going to do anything like groundbreaking in this particular time, but I also wanted to add value here. So hopefully you got some fun tips and tricks or ideas for ways that you can use your planner. But let's get into the planning now. So what I am going to do, because I added in this little sticker, is I'm going to highlight this block that I had made earlier. And I'm just going to change this color to maybe this like blue. And then I'm going to grab this handwriting and I am going to cut it and then paste it on top. Select this, move it over, grab my little highlighter and erase the gray that's in there. And it looks a lot nicer when you can read it on top. And I actually really like having the border there. I think that's a nice touch. And then I am gonna change some of these colors. So let's change this to maybe that pink. I'm gonna change both of these to, let's put it in the blue, I think. And especially if I'm using like the thicker pen color, I do like to change those ones. And yeah, that'll do for now. Now I've already added in my pen colors, but I will link them up here just in case you want to add them in yourself. And I'm just gonna take this thicker one and I'm going to draw around here. And then I'm going to grab my shape tool and just line these up. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to turn off the fill color. That makes everything so much easier. Okay, so let's turn on my stroke eraser for now and let's redo this. Because with the glitch that GoodNotes has been doing lately, I know it's just gonna keep popping that back in and making me angry. So let's grab our shape tool now and just put that on the lines. That's absolutely beautiful. And I'm gonna do something a little bit different than what I usually do. I'm gonna come back to my shape tool. I'm gonna tap and I'm gonna move this right down here, very obnoxiously into the middle of my to-do list. And then I'm going to grab my precision eraser and I'm just going to erase away. And then another fun little hack is you can take a screenshot. If you have GoodNotes 6, this is irrelevant, but if you don't have GoodNotes 6, you can take a screenshot. You can tap on this little circle with the rainbow around it, and you can use the eyedropper tool, and you can find the exact shade of white that I used here. And then go to your sliders and then change, if yours says the P3 hex color, you want to make sure you change this to the sRGB color space. And so it's F8, F8, F8. So you can either just try to copy it, which it's being obnoxious and not letting me, or just remember it, F8, F8, F8. Let's throw away the screenshot because I don't need that again. And I'm going to come to my white here and I'm actually going to change the white color that I use to be F8, F8, F8. So now my white is preset to the same color in this background. So what I can do is just draw over these and just kind of hide that like it never really existed. Okay, so now I'm going to do a similar thing here. So I'm going to draw this rectangle, kind of roughly, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna let it snap into shape, grab my shape tool, cover these up. I'm also going to copy this one and I'm going to paste it here and then grab my shape tool again and cover up these lines for my daily gratitude. So then now what I want to do is I'm going to come to my stickers. Let's turn on images and then let's grab these. And I'm going to kind of see where I can place these. Paste them again. And just kind of rearrange these until I like the look. That looks pretty happy. Very cute. Okay, I want to use this cute stamp, so I'm going to copy this one and just paste it here. I'm gonna come grab, I think one of these, maybe in the pink. I'm gonna paste it here. I'm gonna grab my image tool and I'm just gonna size it. I want it kind of centered here, so maybe what I'll do is move this over a little. Center this a little more, and then I'll be able to put like another sticker there on the side. And then once I'm happy with the size, I'm just gonna move it up really quickly, and we are going to take a screenshot of this and then just copy it, move this back down, paste this, and then tap on it and crop. And we're just gonna crop kind of like a little shape there. There we go. Making sure that the edges are pretty even. And then I'm just gonna kind of put this up here and I'm gonna grab my pen tool now and probably maybe in this like purple color, I changed my mind. I want maybe the blue. And I'm actually going to maybe make this like 1.6. Still too big. Trial and error, guys. The beauty of digital planning. Okay, I think that's cute. Okay, I think I might draw another little square here. I'm going to grab my shape tool and just adjust this until I like it. I think that's pretty good. But what I'm gonna do is, with images turned off, I think I'm gonna move this up just a little. I'm going to grab my precision eraser, erase away here. And then to get that last little bit, I am just going to move this up, and then I can see how far I need to go. Move it back down. Careful not to grab the stripe, the white stripe that I know that's up there. And I'm just gonna move it a little higher and grab my image tool then and move this one up into place. Maybe I can decorate it with some of these flowers or something. Okay, so I'm actually gonna pass this next part off to VoiceOver Tara because my friend who I'm staying with came home and we actually chatted a bit while I finished my planning. So basically all I'm doing here is I'm copying and pasting these cute geometric flower shapes and just arranging them and sizing them how I like. And if I see any areas that kind of blend in too much with the background, I just take one of the solid color flowers and I layer it on top and then just size it to kind of refill in that shape. The next thing I'm going to do is take that white that is the same color as the background and just kind of doodle in some floral or leafy elements here and a couple little polka dots. And in the end, I actually thought this turned out really cute. And then to balance out the stamp that's on the other side, I filled this space in the bottom corner here with a Moulin Rouge sticker. And then I went back to my sticker pack and just grabbed these vertical stripes and I sized them to fit nicely here within this sort of like margin between the tasks to migrate to the future and the dotted grid. And then for the left panel here, I wanted to add in one of my gradient stickers. So I took this really beautiful like wintry one that has the dark purple and the light blue. And I just kind of sized that to fit nicely in here. And then I decided to take my pen in the pink color and do to the top 3 priorities the same thing that I did to my to-do list. So I just drew out the rectangle and then held it so that it would snap into shape. Grabbed my shape tool and then adjusted it so that the top part came down into the heading here. And then again, just used my precision eraser to erase away. And just kind of continuing on with that trend, I then took my blue pen over into my tiny calendar that's in the upper right hand corner and I just drew a line and then I erased away. But this time I did it between each of the letters as opposed to in between the words. And I gotta say that I really prefer this. I just think the look is so much more polished. So who knows, maybe sometime this month I'll go back and change my to-do list and top 3 priorities to match. But I did not do that in this video. You'll have to let me know if you have a preference between the two. Then I went ahead and grabbed my star paperclip and put it over the date so that I can move that with each daily plan. And then I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do over in this gradient space, but what I ended up doing was taking the light blue color that matched the bottom of the sticker, and I just wrote in here daily doodle because I am trying to encourage myself to draw a little bit more every single day. And so here's an example of something that I doodled up today in Procreate, and I decided that I would just kind of crop it and pop it in here. You can add stickers, washi tape, paper clips, whatever, but this is kind of my idea, just to have a space for me to document my daily doodles. And then I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do to fill out this heading up here, but what I ended up landing on was taking a couple of these beautiful brush strokes in the light blue and the pink, layering them on top of each other, and then adding in some fleur-de-lis around in different sizes and angles, and then adding in some black polka dots on top to match. And I actually think it turned out really cute. Anyway, this is my daily setup, and that is all for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing my setup for the year and how I'm going to make my planner work for me. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. You know that I love you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!